the man who was carrying the Ford Sierra flag after Dick Johnson fell out, Andrew Madecki, is in the pits, out of commission, and with him, Peter McKay.
Thanks, Mark. Well, never let it be said that these engines don't get hot. You could probably do a 5-course meal on this thing, but it wasn't the turbocharger, Andy.
No, there was no problems. We wound the boost back because I wanted to be in there for a finish, and I thought we were looking pretty good. I touched somebody and then the plastic bumper bar started hanging down, but I really do think that in this case the officials were a long way over anxious. Now, it's plastic after all. They didn't check with my guys. It wasn't a safety problem, and I think that it's criminal that they can cost me my race and my sponsors coverage on television because of an arbitrary decision like that.
Okay, an unhappy Andrew Madecki.
Obviously. Well, he got a fair run. 5 laps to go. Jimmy Richards leads round 8 of the Shell Ultra Nationals. Second spot still being held down, of course, by teammate Tony Longhurst in the second of the M3 BMWs. And back behind them in third is Glenn Seaton. And with the rather intricate point structure and allocation for classes in the Australian Championship, think about this. When the season started, everyone thought the title was a lay-down misère for Georgie Fury, who performed so well last year. 8 rounds completed, basically, 1 to go, and if Richards wins this afternoon, Seaton finishes in third spot. Going into the grand final in a fortnight's time, Jim Richards will lead 164 points to Seaton's 162. 2 points between them going into a grand final. What a cliffhanger. Here they are setting up for a great form finish, and they deserve their 1-2 today. I think Ron Meacham of BMW will be delighted. Car industry, of course, and particularly if you're trying to engineer BMW, import into Australia, be enough to make you want to jump off the gap. However, some good news for Ron Meacham and BMW and Frank Gardner and the team that backs them. At Amaroo Park, their own home ground, they look set for a 1-2 this afternoon.
Richards leading, Longhurst second, Seaton third, then Fury, followed by Larry Perkins. Then Peter Brock. So Brock hasn't been spectacular, but he's just hung in all day. And is going to cop his best placed finish in the new VL Commodore in this race here at Amaroo today.
You'd think they were ready for a funeral rather than a 1-2. Frank Gardner.
I don't think he ever looks any different, does he?
He doesn't really.
Then again, what he looked like on his wedding day.
Then again, for the poor old Commodores, I guess you could say, Dick, that Amaroo has done for Commodores what the Grim Reaper has done for 10-pin bowling.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Mike. Actually, it's the difficulty is with the circuit. It's just, there's not really enough distance between corners, and I tell you what, the guys that get out of these cars are going to feel pretty second-hand by the time they finish. It's like really doing a set of exercises or a bit of stuff in a sauna, because it gets pretty hot in there.
Golly. Fred Gibson, the team manager for Peter Jackson Nissan, obviously listening to George or Glenn Seaton. They're going to pick up third spot with Glenn today. Not too happy, but Tony closing the gap on Jim Richards all the time.
And I tell you what, Glenn Seaton is certainly starting to come up on the back of Tony Longhurst.
Exactly.
Which could be a very interesting sort of a finish.
They put a lap on Peter
we've
Brock.
just backed the Commodore. Ashby has backed it.
Will be sponsored by Lansvale Smash Repairs. That may help.
And I tell you what, I wouldn't like to be in it. Thank you very much.
Not too much in that. There's Harry Hansford going through in the second of the Shell Ultra High Cosworth. Tony Longhurst. They've all managed to negotiate their way past Peter Brock. There's Graham Hooley from Western Australia. Shield Seats Commodore entry. Probably the most travelled driver for today's race, apart from Ludwig Finau.
Yes, Ludwig's got a long way to go home, hasn't he?
Through Honda corner. Second placed Tony Longhurst trails team leader Jim Richards, and getting right on behind them, wait for this, will be Glenn Seaton. He's caught his second breath.
1 lap to go too. This will be... No, don't worry about it.
Here they come. They're taking the last lap board now, and Glenn Seaton starting to gain on Tony Longhurst as they head up Venture Pave Hill for the final time.
This could be one very interesting lap.
Here's Trevor Ashby in the Lansvale Smash Repairs Commodore.
He'll need him.
On our Shell Ultra High replay. Exit, one Commodore in the closing stages of the race. Bow, you got it from the second angle.
Oh, that hurt.
They drop into the back part of the course on the last lap. There's the gap. Jimmy Richards, car number 3, the JPS BMW, leading from teammate Tony Longhurst. And recovering very strongly to put the pressure back on Longhurst is Glenn Seaton. Down the Shell sweeper to the right-hander at the lake. But one corner to go. The short straight to Toledo corner. He's achieved the impossible here today at Sydney's Amaroo Park Raceway. The last corner comes up, the checkered flag comes out. Gentleman Jim Richards wins it for JPS BMW. And teammate Tony Longhurst takes a second. And Frank Gardner
almost
thinks
smiled.
about a smile. Third place will go to Glenn Seaton. And right behind him, Larry Perkins, followed by Georgie Fury. A great drive, a great race. Car number 15, Glenn Seaton, and the 2 JPS BMWs. Let's confirm the placings for you. Jimmy Richards, the race winner. Well done, John. Tony Longhurst takes second. Glenn Seaton, third. Fourth place, George Fury. Fifth place to Larry Perkins. And sixth place, and a good one too, to Ludwig Finau. So the